We heard at the trade deadline from Daryl Morey after he traded Jared McCain, which we will get to in a moment, that he was trying to, there were other things he was working on and nothing materialized. Mm-hmm. So Kevin O'Connor from Yahoo, friend of the show, wrote a long piece about Jared McCain's success today in Oklahoma City, but he did have a note on something the Sixers may have been working on at the trade deadline. He says, executives have said the Sixers were actively making calls pre-deadline, though nothing seemed remotely close. Some sources suggest Morey was star hunting with Kawhi Leonard being a name that was connected to Philly.
Wow.
So Kawhi Leonard, on the Clippers, has one more year after this year, is great when he plays, sort of suffers from the same thing that Embiid suffers from, is that, he'll play great for 2.5 weeks and they'll think they're championship contenders and then he won't play for a month. Also, not the most, what's the word I'm looking for? Not the most vocal leader guy in the whole world. Certainly would be an interesting.
That's actually being kind.
Yeah, I think he makes Paul George seem like he has a ton of personality.
Right.
So initially, when I read this, I thought to myself, well, what are you doing going after another guy who doesn't play all that often, who is only good when he plays, is not really a motivational guy? And then I started to think about it, is that the only way this happens is if he trades Paul George. And the way that Daryl Morey sort of rebuilt Houston isn't with big trade. Mm-hmm. You make little trades to sort of get yourself out of the situation you're getting yourself out of. And if he could have gotten Kawhi Leonard for a first-round pick and Paul George, you have one less year on your deal because Paul George has 2 more years. Kawhi Leonard is better than Paul George. Neither of them are going to play a lot, but Kawhi's better. And you put yourself a little bit closer to getting out of the hole that you dug yourself in. So I think he would have done that. But certainly when he saw the Clippers trade Harden and saw the Clippers trade Zubac, he must have thought, okay, they're selling. And he tried, but to take on 2 years of Paul George, probably the Clippers would have wanted more than the Sixers were offering. But it didn't make sense to me initially, but the more I thought about it, it's like if you can make the contract of Paul George go from 2 years to 1 year, and you have 1 year of Kawhi rather than 2 years of Paul George, that seems like a
That's
win.
The benefit of it.
Yeah, if you can do it and you're not paying a huge cost for it.
And I guarantee you, even with the amount of time that Kawhi Leonard misses, and believe me, he misses a ton of time.
Yeah.
We would still have a better feeling about Kawhi being here than Paul George.
Yes, he was just better than Paul George.
Yes,
yeah.
so.
I mean, when Kawhi is good, he is still, when Kawhi's there, he's still one of the 5 best players in the league. I mean, he's unstoppable. You can't guard him.
Yep.
So then the other thing that happened last night was...
Another 40-point loss?
Well, of course, they got obliterated by the Spurs.
An NBA record by the Sixers this year.
Yeah, 3 40-point losses at home.
There we go. We're doing
Congratulations.
something right. Yep.
VJ Edgecombe, it was weird. He shot a 3. He sort of got undercut, and he hit he landed on his back, and he has a back contusion. He's out tonight. They're going to reevaluate him before the next game. I thought it was a little strange that nobody came to his defense. So when he got leveled the other night by Keita on Boston, Kelly Oubre went over and knocked him over. Oubre didn't play last night. Nobody did anything when VJ got his legs cut out from under him. I thought that was a little weird. But the thing that happened in a different city is that the Oklahoma City Thunder won again, and their leading scorer was...
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander?
No, it was Jared McCain. So, who is the 3rd leading bench scorer in the NBA since he was traded there, has led the Thunder in scoring twice and won both games. In fact, their 2 leading scorers last night were Jared McCain and Isaiah Joe, another former Sixer. But I'm glad we sold high. Tyrese Maxey last night was asked about, is the first question in here or no? Okay, so these are 2 questions. The first about the morale of the team, but the very important follow-up question from Dave Urem. Here was Tyrese Maxey last night.
All right, so it definitely feels like since the West Coast trip, the energy has been a little bit off, I guess. Have you noticed anything in terms of just morality of the team? Or?
Maybe a little bit. We just won 3 straight games, though. So it's like, I ain't about to, just harp on it too bad. It was tough. We lost however many straight, then we won 3 straight. Now we lost 2 straight. I mean, it's the NBA. I mean, it is what it is. It's hard. Definitely, trade down line was difficult, and it's life. but we moved on from it, and that's something that we have to put in our rearview mirror. If we're going to sit there and dwell on the trade deadline now, I think that was 3-4 weeks ago, however long ago it was, that ain't going to get us nowhere. You know what I'm saying? So
just to clarify, have you noticed teammates dwelling on trade deadline and losing Jared?
I don't think so. I don't think we're dwelling on it. I mean, Jared was a close friend of ours, great teammate, great person. So I definitely think we miss him, of course. I mean, I ain't going to lie, say I don't miss Jared. But I'm happy for him. I watch him. OKC. Make sure. I hope he does well every single night that he plays, except when he plays us, of course.
So, interesting to note, he brought up the trade deadline. Mm-hmm. The question was not about the trade deadline. The question was the morale of the team seems off since the West Coast trip. Mm-hmm. And then Maxey, out of nowhere, says the trade deadline was disappointing, but we're not going to dwell on it. Mm-hmm. He brought it up. Yeah. And then, Dave followed up. And to me, it did not sound convincing when he said, well, we're not really dwelling on it, but we do miss him. I'm not saying that the loss of Jared McCain made this when the Sixers were a really good team and then they lost him and he wasn't a good team. But I do think that they were all hoping that if anything happened, they would get better.
Right.
And they did not get better.
Right.
And I said this at the day. No matter what you think of Jared McCain, and it turns out he's pretty good, but no matter what you think of Jared McCain, the Sixers were worse after the deadline than they were before it. And I think it is very difficult if you are a 76ers player to not think to yourself, they don't believe we're good enough to win because they didn't go and get something to give us a better shot of doing it. I think that the Sixers took that trade and said to themselves, well, this is about next year. This is not about this year.
Yeah, and players have a sense of that stuff, man, and they talk behind closed doors, and Embiid had already, prior to the trade deadline, had mentioned not ducking the tax and trying to get better.
like all the guys here.
So they had already, they must have had a feeling that this could be a possibility and was hoping that it wasn't. I'm glad you led off with the Morey sort of news of trying to get Kawhi Leonard, because at least that says they were trying to do something.
I think he was trying.
Yeah, he was trying to do something. But from a player standpoint, it's disappointing. A, we didn't add anything to help us coming down the stretch, because part of what they're saying now, the Paul George thing was a crippling blow for them. Right? It just was. Because they already are trying to deal with Embiid being in and out of the lineup.
Yep, absolutely.
Now you're going to lose both guys. And Maxey, it's his first year really taking on this lead role as the guy. And he's trying to play 40 minutes a night. He's trying to give it his all. He's trying to bring energy every night. But he's human. And so eventually that's going to die down as losses begin to pile up. I'll give him credit that he's still trying to put out a positive message, even though he's being honest and gave the honest answer first. And then it was almost like, well, yeah, we can't dwell on that.
Yeah, even though you're dwelling on it.
Yes. So he's trying to lead in the right direction, but there's no doubt that the morale is down in the locker room. And losing a kid like Jared McCain in the locker room, and he's of their peer. He's not some older guy.
No, he's right there.
He's right there with them age-wise, so they all vibe together. And like I said, it's one thing about his play on the court. Sometimes having a personality in the locker room helps you get through a long season.
Yep.
Right? If he's the guy who brings the energy when no one else will bring the energy, that helps the guys get up for the game. So they probably value that just as much.
Well, and it can't be easy to see him all of a sudden look like last year's Jared McCain on the Thunder. And I've said this before, and I will continue to say it. Nick Nurse should be ashamed of himself. Mm-hmm. He should be ashamed of himself not finding a way to have that guy be additive to this Sixers team. And Daryl Morey, should be ashamed of himself as well, to send out the message, to say, to put out there himself and put out there through other people that they had such a glut of guards that they didn't have space for Jared McCain.
That's what hurt. That's what hurts Daryl Morey the most is the comments after the trade, trying to validate the trade.
It sounds insane.
Yeah.
Like the Oklahoma City Thunder have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, they have Jalen Williams, they have Alex Caruso, they have what's his name? AJ Mitchell. They have guards and guard. They have Isaiah Joe. They have guards and guards and guards and guards. And everyone who told me that McCain wouldn't play when Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Alex Caruso were back were wrong because he's playing the crunch time minutes. How can the Oklahoma City Thunder, the best team in the league, who have 6 playable guards, find 20 minutes and touches and shots and action and plays run for this guy, and Nick Nurse somehow with their fourth guard is Kyle Lowry, putting the kid in the corner. His guy. Yes,
that Kyle Lowry's his guy.
But Kyle doesn't even play.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. But that's a Nurse guy.
Yes,
that's a Nurse guy. I'm not even half the Jared McCain fan that you are. And this was a ridiculous trade from the beginning, and we said it from when it happened. Like, I didn't see the reason behind doing it when you didn't have to do it.
You
didn't have to do this.
Him not understanding it is like, if there are 2 criticisms of Daryl that are completely legitimate, one is that he believes too much, a little too much, in like talent over everything in the NBA. Doesn't believe enough about how how it fits, how the chemistry of the locker room could. Right. And the other one is that like him thinking, like looking at whatever calculation he has and saying to himself, the first round pick and the 3 second round picks are worth more than this right now. It doesn't account for how good Jared McCain was last year.
Yeah.
It just doesn't account for it. And he listened too much to Nurse. And I really believe, I will believe it forever, that Nick Nurse didn't believe last year. He didn't believe he was good this year. He didn't put him in position to succeed.
He wasn't playing.
And now he's on the best team in the league. They somehow found 20 minutes a game for him.
Yeah, this is on this. I don't even know if I blame Daryl Morey as much, other than the fact he okayed this and went on and did it. But he did it at the direction of Nick Nurse.
Of Nurse.
Yes. This is a Nick Nurse thing, and the more Jared McCain looks well out there for the defending NBA champions, it looks even worse for us here.
Yeah, he's having a great time. He's doing post-game interviews.
Guy's going to probably win a ring this year.
Yeah.
I mean, OKC's probably going to repeat. He's certainly probably going to be in the finals.
Somehow they found a way to get a guy who just got there 2 weeks ago. Looks like he's been playing there for 5 years.
Guy's a shooter, man.
Yeah.
You don't get rid of shooters. Shooters can shoot all the way to they 40.
Yes.
Shooters shoot.